If you've been watching me for a while, then you know that I have done a lot of things in my past that I hate.
No, I didn't want to see child porn, but I just wanted to see, like, okay, let me pretend like I'm a pedophile for a second.
Why are you talking to a 12-year-old girl about a guy putting it in her?
I was like, if I just like hump, but like on her tummy, like that's not weird, like whatever. And then I humped it, and it kept going, and it came all over the camera.
Every apology video I've ever made has been from fear.
There's so many things I've done in the past that I'm like embarrassed of, ashamed of.
When I asked her, I said, how old are you? She said 15. I said, that's so young. She's like, I'm almost 16. As if when she turned 16, we could talk about dicks to her.
Those apologies suck. I don't know who that person is anymore.
She's 12. If anyone had kids, if anyone does have kids who watches this, and you saw Shane Dawson talk to your kids like this, I guarantee you would be absolutely smacking the shit out of him.
And he should put a ring on it.
And he should put a
ring on it.
dick ring on it. No, I'm kidding. No, you don't know what that is. You shouldn't know what that is.
The fucking cat one, we don't have proof of that. But like, you throated your dog.
Is you ask her age, and then continue to keep asking if she bleeds, if he asks her to put it in, what do you say? If he asks her to put it in your mouth, she's 12!
Gross, awful, something I would never talk about now.
Shane Dawson, as we all know him, has been the internet's most controversial creator nowadays. And I'm sure if you knew who Shane Dawson was before everything happened, then you wouldn't really need an explanation. Shane Dawson used to be the internet's favorite conspiracy YouTuber that would talk about creepy things and even go to creepy places in his videos. And Shane Dawson 11 years ago could have never predicted where he would be now. As Shane Dawson would grow his brand in millions across the world, this would cause people to dig up old videos of Shane Dawson's old content. And this of course would cause people to use Shane Dawson's old past against him. Shane Dawson would be called out for a wide variety of things, racism, and would even be called out for predatory behavior that would resurface around 2020 that would ultimately cancel him off the internet for a while. Many people across the internet have not forgiven Shane Dawson for his creepy scandals that he's done, and this has only caused Shane Dawson to consistently lose viewership as time progresses. In this video, we're going to be going through how Shane Dawson went from being someone who loved making funny videos for his fans for the fun of it, to being wrapped up in all of these controversies. And I guess the only appropriate way to begin is where Shane Dawson even began in the first place. Shane Dawson would create his channel in September of 2005. Rather unlike other content creators who started making videos because they want to put themselves out there, Shane Dawson had originally began making videos for his school projects. And throughout high school, these comedy videos that Shane Dawson had been making had made his school teachers and family members love it. And when people began loving his comedic personality, this had ultimately inspired him to start up a YouTube channel which was just called Shane at the time, so he could post some of his funny videos on there. Also around this time, Shane would also begin to start taking different roles in different television commercials, as YouTube at this time was not much of a career for Shane yet. And Shane's agent had then encouraged him to change his stage name from Shane to Shane Dawson, taking inspiration from the show Dawson's Creek. So with this, Shane Dawson had then realized that he had a bit of a following on YouTube, and with this, Shane Dawson would then make a second channel called Shane Dawson's TV in 2008. And with this, Shane Dawson's first couple videos were nothing more than your average personal vlog from a YouTuber.
What's crackin', YouTubers? In case you don't know me, my name is Shane. Nice to meet you.
After Shane Dawson's first couple of videos on his new channel, he began to start gaining new subscribers and he began gaining hundreds of views on his videos, which at the time in 2008 was pretty impressive. Shane Dawson would then go back to making his comedy skit videos, which would then take off across his channel, which Shane's audience had absolutely loved his comedy skit videos and found them hilarious. Shane Dawson would then start uploading way more consistently, and each comedy sketch video had gone viral all the time. You could almost compare Shane Dawson to Smosh, as Smosh was rising as one of the biggest comedy sketch YouTubers of all time. By 2010, the Shane channel had gained over 200,000 subscribers, and the Shane Dawson's TV channel had amassed over 1 million subscribers by 2010. And by this time, Shane Dawson was able to finally do YouTube full time, and was able to finally make decent money off of YouTube, whereas before, Shane Dawson had been struggling to find a decent paying job, and he'd gotten fired from his previous job, and the growth of Shane Dawson's channels would not stop. Around this time, Shane Dawson began collabing with other creators, and was even doing interviews by different media companies, and was even able to save up enough money to move up to Los Angeles. Shane Dawson even earned himself an award for the best vlogger at the Streaming Awards in 2010. By mid-2011, Shane Dawson would be marked as the 5th most subscribed YouTube channel of all time. And back in 2010, he had hit a peak at the 3rd most subscribed YouTube channel of all time. And Shane Dawson would also be marked as one of the fastest growing channels of all time. Shane Dawson also began to start making parody videos about different celebrities and different cultures. And these videos that Shane Dawson had been making had a huge production value, which still had a bunch of comedy in it, which was pretty impressive since that this was back in 2011-2012. Then by the end of 2012, Shane Dawson then began to start making music. One of his most popular songs was a song where basically Shane Dawson was trying to win over a girl by fighting her boyfriend, which costed about $1 on iTunes. And Shane Dawson's fans loved and supported his music. And not only was Shane Dawson doing YouTube and making music at this time, he would also be featured in a short film movie which was called Smiley. However, despite a loyal community, the movie didn't do all that great and received a bunch of critics, considering the fact that this was a very cheap movie. But he was still growing his YouTube channel. However, by 2013, something strange began to happen across Shane Dawson's channels. He began to start getting way less views across his videos. He went from getting about 3 million views per video, to then 2 million, to then 1 million, to then getting lucky to even hit 1 million. And with this, Shane Dawson began to start working on other things besides YouTube, like starting his own podcast called Shane and Friends, where on this podcast, this would allow Shane Dawson's fans to see the unfiltered version of him, as Shane has said himself. And with this podcast, this began to make him grow again, as Shane Dawson can now just be himself and let his true personality show up to the public. By 2014, the Shane Dawson TV channel had gained over 5 million subscribers, and it would also be in this year where Shane Dawson had announced that he had been a part of another movie which is more professional, which had an $800,000 budget to it, which the movie's name was called Not Cool, and Shane Dawson would even be featured in a TV series called The Chair. However, like Smiley, this movie and TV series all flopped and got a bunch of critics and bad reviews. Even some of the cast members would even say that this was a waste of time making this TV series and movie, and Shane Dawson had gotten a bad name in Hollywood after both of these films had all flopped. However, shortly after this, Shane Dawson would be wrapped up in his first major scandal in September of 2014. People will call out Shane Dawson for making blackface videos, and some people would even call out Shane Dawson for this on Twitter. Shane Dawson will respond on Twitter by saying, "That's not blackface, I was playing Wendy Williams and doing it justice. There's a big difference, get out of my face." However, with everyone clowning him for doing blackface, he would make a video addressing it on the Shane channel called My Apology Blackface Offensive Videos. In the apology video, Shane had stated how he didn't truly know the history of blackface, apologized to everyone who was affected by it.
There's been a lot going on Twitter and Tumblr and a lot of other places that my mom doesn't know how to find, and basically saying that I am racist. Now, for those of you who don't know what blackface is something that they used to do a long time ago. White people would, make their face black and they'd paint their lips white and they'd make fun of black people, and it was really cruel and horrible. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really know what it was up until literally a month ago. I knew the term, but I didn't quite know any of the historical, background and any of that.
After all the drama, people slowly forgot about it, as because Shane Dawson had went out and deleted the blackface videos, so the audience didn't really know what blackface videos he was talking about. Later on in 2015, while the Shane Dawson TV channel was at a normal 6 million subscribers, 2015 would be a pretty good year for Shane Dawson. In this year, Shane Dawson had made his first memoir called I Hate Myself, where he just displays his most embarrassing moments in his life. And in this year, Shane Dawson also began to start making creepy, conspiracy, mystery, and pop culture videos on the Shane channel, which have all gained tens of millions of views. And in 2015, Shane Dawson also come out as bisexual, which I literally didn't know before making this video. However, many people supported Shane Dawson. By the end of 2015, the Shane channel had gained over 6 million subscribers, and things were looking good for the future of his channel. However, by 2016, Shane Dawson began to stop posting consistently on the Shane Dawson TV channel, and he was posting way more frequently on the Shane channel, and Shane Dawson did just that. Shane Dawson stopped really caring about the Shane Dawson TV channel and grinded out on the Shane channel, as he continued with his conspiracy and pop culture videos that I found pretty interesting. Later on in March of 2016, Shane Dawson would begin to start dating another person called Rylan Adams, and Shane Dawson had announced on his Instagram that they were both dating at the time, and they even made a couple videos together. Throughout this time, Shane continued with his conspiracy videos, eating videos, and more collaboration videos with different content creators. But later in the beginning of 2018, Shane Dawson's podcast Shane and Friends would be discontinued, but this wouldn't all be Shane's biggest problems he would face, because things would only take a dramatic hit. A channel by the name of Popblast would post one of Shane Dawson's podcast clips that resurfaced from 2014, where Shane Dawson says this.
Child was probably 6 years old, and I was taking a picture of something, and the kid turns to me and goes, "Oh, are you Instagramming?" And first of all, how does a 5-year-old, 6-year-old know what Instagram is?
Right.
Which is terrifying.
Mhm.
Second of all, I was embarrassed because yes, I was, and it was a picture of my salad. And the 6-year-old girl goes, oh, how many followers do you have? I have 125,000.
No.
Her dick was almost as big as mine.
Really?
And I said, okay, little big dick, why do you have so many followers? And she goes, oh, I'm a cheerleader. And I'm like, oh, really? And she shows me her Instagrams, which are like, first of all, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like, she's like sexy. She's like sexy.
You're disgusting.
I know. Listen, we've talked about pedophilia
No, this
before.
is Shane. Like, do not say this, and like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, you will get arrested. Like, he kind of can.
Listen,
he has this
allegedly-
justification for pedophilia,
Okay.
and it's so disturbing. And like, I just pretend that he doesn't.
Okay, wait,
and, like,
no. Let me explain. Let me
No.
explain.
Oh God.
Here's my justification for pedophilia.
I can't.
This video clip began to start going viral across the internet and went completely viral on Twitter. So this made Shay Dawson make a response video to everything, saying how it was out of context and how his partners have baby faces. After all the drama transpired, there were some people who went against Shane Dawson, but ultimately people took Shane Dawson's side and moved on from all of this. And Shane Dawson moved on too. He made ghost hunting videos, which I found pretty damn cool, and made videos documenting other content creators. These documentary videos was a style that Shane Dawson began to start making way more, which he had made into a series which was super popular across his channel. These videos gained tens of millions of views, and these documentary videos like boosted up Shane Dawson's channel to almost 10 million subscribers in 2018 and up to 19 million subscribers in the beginning of 2019. By this time, Shane Dawson had completely switched to making this long form content videos, and Shane Dawson's upload schedule was way less frequent now, only like a couple videos per year. But that didn't necessarily make his channel go stagnant, as rather had the opposite effect for it, as because this long wait made his videos way more anticipated, and then when the video would drop, it would gain millions of views in the first couple hours of the video being posted, his most popular video having over 50 million views. And with this obviously came with new people, and new people began to start finding out about Shane Dawson's past scandal that had surfaced from 2014, and this started showing back up in mid-2019. Not wanting to go through all that again, Shane Dawson had just linked his response video in a tweet for new people to see that already didn't see it. However, that same day, a video from Shane Dawson's podcast would surface, and you guessed it, it's that infamous video of Shane Dawson talking weird shit about his cat.
One time, I laid my cat down on her back.
You don't get arrested for this?
I don't know. No.
Think about it.
I don't think so.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't penetrate. I laid the cat down on her back, and then I moved her little chicken legs, like, you know, spread open or whatever. And I was like, if I just like hump, but like on her tummy, like that's not weird. Like, whatever. And then I humped it, and it kept going. I came all over the cat.
No, you did not.
It was like my first sexual experience.
No
I was also
way.
like 19, so it's like, you know.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second. Did you just say you came on a cat?
When this started circulating around Twitter and around YouTube, Shane Dawson would make a Twitter post saying, I didn't fuck my cat, I didn't come on my cat, I didn't put my dick anywhere near my cat, I've never done anything weird with my cats. I promised myself I wasn't gonna make apology videos after last year's thing, so I'm just trying to be short and honest with this as possible. In some of other Shane's tweets, he states how everything he said on the podcast was for a joke, and to shock people in order to get more attention and viewers. And he says how he doesn't want to make any apology videos as he feels it's unnecessary. And basically everyone made fun of Shane Dawson for his weird cat incident. Later on, this situation would sort of die down for a bit, and Shane Dawson would then slowly start to migrate over to the beauty community, as he made several videos with Jeffree Star, that being his most popular video on his channel. However, Shane Dawson would find himself in a scandal with the beauty community this time, as Shane and Jeffree Star would get into drama with another content creator called Cameron Lester. During this whole drama, James Charles, Tati Westbrook, and Jeffree Star would all be involved. Now, the whole Tati Westbrook and James Charles drama was confusing for me, and personally I didn't give a fuck about it, but we're gonna make this short since Shane had a bit of involvement in it. Tati Westbrook and James Charles had gotten into it in 2019, after Tati Westbrook had felt betrayed by James Charles through a product that he promoted after she had promoted it first. So Tati made the Bye Sister video, saying how James Charles uses his power to manipulate straight men and fucks over other people. Jeffree Star would then get himself involved in the entire situation, and James Charles would then make a video clearing up the accusations. Then when Cameron's video came out in 2020 about everything, everyone was berating Shane Dawson Dawson for his involvement in the cancellation of James Charles. Then when all this had transpired, Shane Dawson had announced on his Twitter how he's leaving the beauty community for good. In his statement, he said how he wanted to get away from all the drama and how it wasn't good for his mental health, and also said how he had no involvement with James Charles being cancelled at the time, but people weren't buying what Shane Dawson was saying. And conveniently, the next day, after all the hate Shane Dawson was receiving, he had gone on and deleted all the tweets about the drama. However, things would only escalate even further when people would go all the way back to 2012 to dig up some more old videos. And the video everyone would find was a video of Shane Dawson asking a 12-year-old very inappropriate questions.
So we want to talk to you. We want to explain what sex is to you. We did get really quiet.
And he should put a ring on it.
And he should put a
ring on it.
dick ring on it. No, I'm kidding. No, you don't know what that is. You shouldn't know what that is. Okay. Now, are you on your period right now?
What?
I'm trying to get answers.
How do I'm not gonna give you anything.
When this had surfaced, this made people berate Shane Dawson for this. And with all this hate he began getting, Shane Dawson would go on to post a video on the 26th of January called Taking Accountability, where essentially he goes over everything he was in, and also states how his other apology videos were made from fear, and said how his old scandals came from his home life.
Those apologies suck. I don't know who that person is anymore. Every apology video I've ever made has been from fear. It's me sitting at home thinking the whole world hates me and crying and hyperventilating and then just turning on a webcam and just saying I'm sorry and then hoping people know I'm a good person and then it'll go away. And that is stupid. That is something that a child does.
After Shane posted this video, hoping people will understand him, well, no one really cared what Shane Dawson had to say. Even more things would start to surface. For example, a video a decade ago was surfaced of Shane Dawson getting one off of a picture of an 11-year-old, which was a picture of Jaden Smith's sister. When all the drama had surfaced, Shane Dawson would go into private majority of his videos prior to 2014, where he lost about 1 billion video views in total. And this whole situation would ultimately destroy Shane Dawson's reputation to an all-time low. People across the internet would speak out and say how Shane Dawson is disgusting for this.
How on earth could you ever have thought that was a conversation you should have had with this girl? I don't care what you Shane Dawson fans say. Shane Dawson fans have constantly hid behind the "it's all edgy humor, it's so edgy." Well, not when kids are involved, when you're actually talking and using a kid and exploiting them for your own fucking content and for you to get a little bit of entertainment out of. What are you doing? She's 12.
And when all this unfolded, Shane Dawson would get completely demonetized from YouTube altogether, not being able to make a single dollar off his videos. And his subscriber count would quickly begin to start to drop rapidly, going from 23 million subscribers in January of 2020 when the initial response video came out to 19.7 million subscribers to present day, losing approximately almost 4 million subscribers in total. And people just kept on digging up more old videos of Shane Dawson when he got exposed for it. There would be a video that had surfaced of Shane Dawson actually kissing a 12-year-old girl, which I don't know how you're supposed to justify that. When Shane Dawson got cancelled for this, he would then go on to take a 1.5-year break from YouTube after his response video, and from there on people just assumed that Shane Dawson had quit YouTube altogether. However, a 1.5 years later, Shane Dawson would return to YouTube back with a high energy video called The Haunting of Shane Dawson. Clearly by the video, it shows Shane Dawson trying to lighten the mood and act like everything's just fine. And Shane Dawson tried to put the impression that he hadn't filmed in a while, so he acted like he knew nothing.
Hi. I don't know how to do this. I haven't filmed a video in almost 2 years. Anyways, hi.
What are we doing?
Okay, what do I want to say? I feel like I have so much to say that I don't know where to start. Look at my new bling pumpkin. Isn't that cute?
I mean, I love it.
From the jump, there were people who actually supported Shane and was happy that he was back on the internet and happy. But from the outside, there were people who were furious that Shane Dawson was able to just return back to the internet after what he was exposed for. Following Shane's return video, he would go on to post a couple more videos. However, as we've seen throughout Shane Dawson's channel, he averages tens of millions of views across his videos. However, ever since Shane Dawson has come back to YouTube, his viewership has taken a dramatic hit, going from getting about 200 million views per month to only getting about 4 million views per month, which is about a drop in 98%. But that's pretty much where we're at right now. As of making this video, Shane Dawson posts way more frequently on his other channel called Shane Dawson 2 that he's had since 2019, where on there he posts his podcast videos which get somewhat decent views. Shane Dawson has been the internet's most controversial creator nowadays, getting into scandal after scandal after scandal, and can't get away from everyone digging up his old past and using it against him. Shane Dawson shows how much power the internet has. The internet has the power to find old videos viewed that you don't think that's that big of a deal. real. Shane Dawson probably thought what he did 10 years ago would have not came back to haunt him nowadays. Obviously not excusing Shane Dawson's actions. People try to justify Shane Dawson by saying it was a long time ago, but that shit doesn't matter what the scandal Shane Dawson was in. Racism and pedophilia can never be justified. And when there's actually videos of you kissing minors, yeah, that's not gonna help you. There's a 50-50 amount of people who will try to compare this to cancel culture and say you can't judge someone 10 years ago. Well, that's true to an extent. Pedophilia is a serious thing, and while people say it was 10 years ago, that doesn't matter when it comes to shit like that. But that's just how I feel about the whole it was 10 years ago thing. But whatever you think, Shane Dawson will always live with the fact that he has been exposed for his scandals and predatory behavior, and Shane Dawson's image is forever ruined, and it's unlikely if Shane Dawson will ever return back to where he once was, as Shane Dawson's always gonna be looked as a weird creep nowadays. But that's all for today's video. If you guys did enjoy this downfall video, thank you, subscribe and drop a like if you want to. Go follow my Twitter at JamesLumpkinYC, best friend for ahead time before I post my videos, and go follow my Twitch. And if you guys want to see a certain downfall video on a certain YouTuber, then leave it in the comments below. And we're so close to 400 subscribers. I don't know if we've already hit it when this video goes out, but thanks for the support recently. It's been great. You guys are cool because you guys don't have to watch my videos, but I appreciate that you guys like my downfall videos ever since I started making these, since it does take a pretty large portion of my day to make. And I've also made a Discord server. The link to that will be down in the description below. And anyways, this video is long as fuck. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out.